Hey, Shalom. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to the apostles, the great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the Akim that is pushing this word in truth and sincerity. This is a mafia from the GMS Dallas camp, and just wanted to do a quick response um, to the apostles that was out there, on the highways and byways Saturday, and they had, Vocab No Class Alone to show up, and he basically doing what he do best, scoffing, you know, trying to break down the scriptures all incorrectly. He just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? He's an Edomite, but just looking at when he was going into, the apostles were breaking down the Gentiles, who are the Gentiles. You know what I'm saying? And he just don't get it. He just don't get it, which we know he's not gonna get it because he's a, he's a devil, and he's an agent. All right. So he was basically his doctrine is, if you just believe and have faith, you can be in doctrine in. All right. But we know faith without works, basically it's dead. Roughly paraphrasing. So if someone just believe, he's going with the Christian church, you just believe you can be saved, all right? So that's why they try to say, well, Gentiles are basically whoever can be grafted in. Only if you believe and you have that faith, then you can be saved, all right? Which is definitely not the correct doctrine, all right? Now, like I said, you do want to have that faith and that belief, but you want to do the works. Now, not saying everyone that's going to be delivered is going to be going on the highways and byways preaching. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be in good standing and good understanding for that mercy. All right. I wanted to start off with doing a quick verse here. This is Hebrews 11, verse 1. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it be the elders obtain a good report." All right. So by the elders, you know what I'm saying, and we know the men of GMS, starting with the apostles, we have the correct doctrine through and through. Okay. How do we know that? By faith. Okay. And belief, and we have that belief, and we're out here doing the work. Now, and if you don't believe it, then, well, go keep going with what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? But we know what we have here. Okay? So, with the Gentiles, going into the Gentiles, now we know people here get that misconstrued where going into Acts 10 with Cornelius, all right? They don't get that good understanding. But, we just want to try to keep going and just prove and show that the Gentiles who are going to be grafted back in, these are Israelites. These are not Moabites. These are not Canaanites, all right, which is, like I say, the Egyptians, and this is only for Israel, okay? Now I wanted to go into Isaiah 11, and I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, "And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and the rest shall be glorious." All right? "And in that day come to pass, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea." Now, the first time, like I say, when it was grafted in, like I say, it wasn't the first. It wasn't the people. It was Israelites that were grafted in, basically. Now, we are scattered amongst the heathen nations, so whoever going to be grafted back in are still going to be Israelites. Now, the Israelites are, how you know that? You basically go back through the lineage of who, through your father. All right? It's not through your mother like the Jews try to, these so-called Jews over in Israel today, which are gutter rats. It is not through your mother. It's through your father, the seed of your father. As it reads, it shall be a root of Jesse, and it says in Isaiah 11 and 10. It is the root of Jesse. It's not. It didn't say through the root of the woman, but through Jesse. Okay. All right. Now I want to go into Acts 15, and this is going into the basically Paul and when he went down into Judea. It says Acts 15 and 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye, which is except you be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. All right. Now, when Moses was during the time of Israel, during the time when we were being enslaved through Egypt, Salakia. Who were in Egypt that was slaved and was delivered out of that? Okay, was it the Ammonites? All right, who was it? It was the Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. And it says, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. So when you go into that account, that deliverance out of Egypt, it was through the manner of circumcision through the manner of Moses. When we be delivered the second time out of basically Sodom in Egypt, which is here in America and basically just around the whole world, it's going to be through the circumcision. It's the same thing, through the circumcision after the manner of Moses. It's going to be still through that line, okay? You so-called black, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? And like you say, we do have scattered and confusion of faces throughout the other nations. These are the people that contain the circumcision. Okay? Now this is like you say, this is after Acts 10. All right? All right, this is when we got scattered amongst the heathen. All right, we learned their ways and we started going off. So we had to go. So basically, we supposed to come back into the fold of our Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right? And one of the accounts where we was going off is in Maccabees as well. And that's showing an account of being basically we forsook the Holy Covenant. This is the first Maccabees. All right, this is First Maccabees, first chapter 1, verse 11. It says, "In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, sayings, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow." All right, and this is showing an account where when our people, the Israelites, said, "Hey, well, we've been going through this sorrow and going through much hardship. Let's go and make a covenant, because you got to know that at that time, the Grecians was making hard on our people. Okay, they were making it very hard. They was killing us left and right. Okay, feeding us to lions. I mean, this it was a horrendous thing that was going on. And then, you know, our people said, hey, let's just go and try to make a covenant with them. All right, I'm gonna keep going on here. Verse 12, it says, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. All right, and if you look at it today, that's how it is today. All right, it's okay, you know, it's okay. This is another form of do as the Romans do as the Americans do, the Western world. We see that amongst, even not even just with Israel, you see that amongst the the Elam and all. You know what I'm saying? They're inheriting and incorporating the Western ways. And what is the and the ways of that is death. It says, verse 14, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen. Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised. All right? And made themselves uncircumcised. Okay? And forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. So there you go right there. All right? There you go right there. And let me see Slovakia. That's why when you come into the fold, let you know that, you know, let's see, can I find it here? It's in 1 Corinthians where it's, say, you know, ye were Gentiles. Slovakia. It kind of slipped my mind here. But it goes into, like you say, as it said in Maccabees, that, oh, okay, Slovakia. You know what? I got it. 1 Corinthians 12. I believe it's 12 and 2. If I'm not mistaken. All right. I'm going to start at 1. It says, 1 Corinthians 12 and 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, as ye were led. Okay? So, if we go back to 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, it says, 1, okay, it says, verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised. Okay, so they became Gentiles. They became uncircumcised. Now, if you ask yourself, because they would try to say, well, you know, they say being circumcised and uncircumcised, you know, that's you know, only the cutting of the flesh, you know what I'm saying, of your penis. You know, that's basically is the what Israel's supposed to do. Okay. But how, now ask yourself, how do you become uncircumcised? Are you supposed to go sew your foreskin back on? No. This is spiritual. All right. So that would happen that would happen in Maccabees. We during the time of the Grecians, we became uncircumcised because we started whoring out the other gods. Okay. And that's why when you go into 1 Corinthians 12, is let you know that ye were Gentiles. Okay? Carried away by the dumb idols. So through this day, today, through you know what I'm saying, through our forefather Abba Bivens, and through our apostles, you know, today from Elder Apostle Tahar on down, we were coming back to the fold. We knew that we were Gentiles. Like I said, and there's other camps, like I said, they Israelites camps, they are, we may not agree on the doctrine, but they do know they are Israelites. But for the correct doctrine, like you say, in GMS, we push the correct doctrine through and through. We go strictly through the scriptures and go by the scriptures and prophesy. Don't try to add on or take away from the scripture. We know that we were uncircumcised, but when we got brought to the back to the fold, we became circumcised again. All right, and we were scattered. We were scattered. And I want to jump down to First Maccabees 1, and I'm gonna go start at 41 and read to probably about 47. It said, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. All right, and every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Now, don't that sound like you say, what they say, the New World Order? All right, that sounds like a New World Order, and it reads like I said in Ecclesiastes. You know what I'm saying? It's no new thing under the sun. Ecclesiastes 3. No new thing under the sun. And verse 42 it says, and everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented in his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days. All right. So what do we do now? We go around doing Easter, all right, which is Ashtar. You know what I'm saying? That is a pagan god. We go through and we do Christmas, and like I say, it tells you specifically not to do that. You can go into Jeremiah 10 and it goes into chapter 10 and it goes into Christmas, how you deck the trees and everything. That is something we don't supposed to be doing. That's forbidden. But yet our people go off to do such things. All right, so nothing new under the sun. Same thing that was happening in the time of the Maccabees. All right, it is happening today. All right. All right. So verse 45, and it says, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and the festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beast. All right, and that is basically what's happening today. Our people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge. That, as you know, goes into Isaiah. Our people are destroyed from, Hosea. Okay. So this is the account that we got to look at. This is not when you go to the Gentiles, basically in Gentile foreigners. These are Israelites. And what are we doing when we go out in the highways and byways, when we do the videos? We're basically, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we're grafting our people back into the fold. That's why sometimes you see a so-called white man who looks white, but he's actually an Israelite. He gets this understanding. So he will go and he will be drawn into the understanding of the scriptures, of the truth. Okay? If you have a so-called African get the understanding and they start going by the teachings, they're being grafted back in. Basically, henceforth, they were uncircumcised and they're becoming circumcised through the spirit. All right. So with that, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash, double honors to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the Akim that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.